handle the truth.
I'll be back.
It's alive!
Was an excellent day for an exorcism.
Hi, this is Joe, and this is the Film Joe podcast, where film talk happens.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to the Film Joe podcast, where we talk about films, filmmakers, trends, the good, the bad, and the not so bad, all in the spirit and for the love of film. I'm Joe, your host, and I'm here with Carlos.
Carlos was munching on a pizza real quick.
That's right. And cold pizza at that, right?
I just took that sucker out the fridge, man.
Well, you know, cold pizza ain't that bad.
It's not.
It's not. I mean, hot pizza is better, but...
True.
Well,
but
yeah.
of all the cold pizza, like the cold food variations that are supposed to be hot, I feel like it's one of the only acceptable ones.
Well, fried chicken, but... Then
man.
Yeah, well, you're a vegetarian. What would you know?
Fried chicken cold?
Yeah,
At least pop that sucker 5 minutes in the
No. Well, when you were non-vegetarian, you would eat cold.
Not cold chicken.
Cold chicken is good.
No, man.
It's not that bad.
Pass.
All right. Well, so this week we're talking about the legendary Indiana Jones trilogy.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Now, I know there's 5 films,
Mhm.
but we're not going to really talk about the other 2.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not horrible, but it's all about the original trilogy. So before we go on, let's just remind everybody that we're not professional critics here. We just a couple of guys who'd love to talk about film.
Just 2 Joes.
2 Joes.
I don't know how many times I'm going to crack that one, but you know what? I think it's funny every single time.
Yeah, I think it's like the 3rd or 4th time. But
Yeah,
you know what? It's
it's
still
okay.
funny. It's so good. So based on the fact that we're doing Indiana Jones, our 1 to 10 scale rating will be on a scale of 1 to 10
Whips.
whips. Absolutely.
Ah.
Yeah, you guessed it. You
See,
got it this
yeah,
time.
man.
1 to 10 whips. So everyone, please, we're going to let everybody know we do have spoilers.
I mean, okay, these films are kind of, older than me, so if you haven't seen them, shame on you. And if
Right.
you have, you already know what's up.
Exactly. So, but before we continue, let's get on with... news bits. All right. So at the time of recording, just recently, I think it was this past weekend or the past weekend, Expendables 4 opened.
Okay.
Starring, of course, Jason Statham, Stallone, and a bunch of other people.
Sure.
A bunch of other muscle people.
Muscle movie, man.
Muscle movie. And it flopped.
Of course.
It opened at only 8 million, which is really, really low. And yeah. So, I mean, I still want to see it.
Eventually, sure.
Yeah. And, I was looking at an article, they were mentioning this. They talked about how this would signal the end of the aging action movie star.
Mm-hmm.
And that pretty much is just the end of that whole trend. Yes and no. Yes, that it is, the end of the era, I think, of the action film star and the action film along those lines.
Yeah.
But it's not just the aging acting star. I mean, look, we're living in an era where action stars like Chuck Norris, Stallone, Clint Eastwood, all these greats, their style of action and machismo is looked upon in a negative light.
Yeah.
And it's looked upon as toxic masculinity. I mean, come on, it was just action stars doing their thing and killing bad guys.
Yeah.
They don't fucking talk to these guys. They just kill them.
Well, they hit him with the one-liner. So.
Right. And Schwarzenegger, all these greats. So, I mean, yeah, I think it is the end. I mean, audiences are changing, times are changing, and I think that's it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, unfortunately. But you know what? We have them all on DVD and streaming still. So, also, Rachel Zegler, of course, of West Side Story and of the upcoming Disney.
Yeah. Off-White and seven diversity hires.
Right, exactly. And so, I mean, as it is, this movie's getting all kinds of negative press. People, I mean, the movie's not even out, not even a trailer, and people are dumping on this movie.
I mean,
and I'm not going to say, it's going to suck anyway, but I think it's going to suck.
It's going to suck.
And, well, recently, She was attached to doing Paddington 3, the one about
You're the bear and
the
it comes
bear-
alive, yeah.
Yeah,
Or something like that.
and all that shit. And, I haven't seen them. I heard they're great, a lot of fun. But Paddington 3, she was attached to it, and she pretty much is no longer attached to it.
Mm.
Now, this is according to Inside the Magic website, which I'm going to tell you, that website is full of shit.
Okay.
Take what they say with a grain of salt. They have a lead line that makes you think this and that. So according to them, it made it look like she was fired from Paddington 3 because of all the shit she did with the whole Snow White.
Yeah.
Not the case. They will lead into it, make it seem like such. They have a lot of filler in their articles, full of shit.
And you'll never believe why. Yeah,
Right. As it turns out, she is an American actress, and she's with SAG-AFTRA, which are currently on strike.
Still.
Yeah, I think they're about to reach an agreement. But Paddington 3 is a British production. It has nothing to do with SAG-AFTRA. So she can't be in that film while she's on strike. So they had to move on with the production. So that's why she wasn't fired.
Yeah.
I mean, they keep signaling. In fact, the article with Inside the Magic, they kind of suggest that, she was fired because of what she, In fact, at first it made it sound like actually that she was fired from Snow White. And then
everything just led downfall.
Yeah.
There.
So everybody, Inside the Magic, full of shit. Don't believe what they say. So let's move on. Just saw a new trailer for a film called Argyle, directed by Matthew Vaughn, who directed such great films as Kick-Ass, X-Men First Class, and the Kingsman trilogy. This movie is going to be freaking awesome. It has a stacked cast. It has, check this out, Henry Cavill, Mr. Superman.
The Superman.
Bryce Dallas Howard from Jurassic World.
Okay.
Catherine O'Hara, the mom from Beetlejuice, the original Beetlejuice. John Cena.
Nice.
Bryan Cranston, Sam Jackson, and Sam Rockwell. This is stacked.
That's pretty fucking
And it just a kinetic bundle of energy is what this movie looks like. It looks like a lot of fun. Tons of action. So if you get a chance, check out the trailer. It looks amazing. It's coming out, I think it's scheduled for next year.
Okay.
So I highly recommend that. So let's move on to what we've seen recently. What have you been into? What have you been watching?
So I have started and pretty much fucking finished the live action One Piece.
Oh, on Netflix.
Yeah, man.
Okay. How was it?
Okay. So it is pretty good. It's really fucking solid. It has heart and has emotion to it. It covers basically a smidge of the entirety of One Piece so far, because it covers up to episode 60 of 1777
episodes.
Yes.
How long has this show been going on? The original.
It's older than me.
So the anime has been over 20 years.
It's older than me, dude.
Wow.
Older than me.
So Netflix they're onto something here, because this is.
They have unlimited. The actors are probably going to grow too old before they even get the chance to catch up.
Wow.
But it's really good. It's really solid. Okay, so there's a lot of how they change from. It's the original source is the manga, right?
The manga comic strip.
Then it'll be adapted into the anime, and then now they've adapted it into the live action, right? So eventually down the line, the trickling down, you're gonna have to change things up to be able to fit an anime, and that you wouldn't be able to do in the books, right?
Right.
And one of the things that they changed back to the original, I actually found very fucking cool, man. So let me hit you with this. It's a captain of a pirate ship anyways, not important. Of the cooking pirates, something like something of the sort.
Right.
Crazy, right? And he rescues a little kid, and they end up in this tiny little fucking island, and he tells the little kid, "You stay on that side. Here's your sack of food. Don't come to my other side unless you see a ship." And they're stranded, right? Days, weeks, months go by. Little kid eats all his food. And then he goes to the other, to the captain pirate, and he's like, "You still have your sack of food." It's ginormous. It's easily like half the size of the man, right? And he goes, "Stay on your side. There might be a ship passing by." And the little kid has his little knife that he uses for the food, stabs the little bag, and starts searching for the food. and all he's finding is jewels, treasures, gold, and everything.
So
right?
it wasn't food.
So it wasn't even food. The little kid had all of the food. And here's what happened in the manga. He had no food because he gave all of it to the little kid.
Mm-hmm.
So with the rock, he smashed his leg and fucking ate his leg.
Oh, gee. And that's in the manga.
That's in the manga. Yeah.
Jeez, that's gruesome.
In the anime, when they adapted it, it was too dark. So
Right.
what ended up happening is that the captain saved the little kid from drowning in the sea, but his leg got stuck on the anchor rope thing, so he cut it off then.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, fine. In the live action, they were like, we can be dark here. So they reverted it back to the
Oh,
original.
wow.
And
So
they
he just
showed him like,
eat-
no, they didn't show him like eating and chopping his leg, but they showed him, like amputated and a bloody rock, and they even told
Wow.
him, "You ate your leg,"
Wow. So, I mean, it seems like they kept the spirit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, a lot of, one of the most recent, aside from that, anime adaptations was Cowboy Bebop.
Oh yeah,
and that crashed and burned.
Yeah, no, that was horrible.
I mean, you got decades and decades of fan base, and they're like, no, this isn't ours. This isn't what we grew up with. And as far as One Piece, it's getting a lot of positive, buzz from the base of fans.
You know why? Because the writer himself, Eiichiro Oda, he was attached to this project directly. I think he was a producer or something like that.
So
There's this cute little nod that they had where they showed him giving so the main character, his name is Luffy, and his greatest treasure is his straw hat.
Right.
Because it was given to him by his mentor, right? And it shows Oda, the writer of One Piece, giving the straw hat to the actor that plays Luffy in the
cool.
in the live action.
So that's pretty much representative of how he's approaching the project with very personal touch.
Oh yeah.
And that's cool. I mean, I haven't seen it. I'm not familiar with the whole.
You're probably never going to.
Probably not.
It's 1,070 something episodes. But
yeah.
it's so good.
I just might dive into the series on Netflix. I mean, it looks like a lot of fun.
It is.
Cool. Well, I have watched a couple of films. I saw the greatest sci-fi B-flick film of all time.
Uh-huh.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Oh, geez. If this isn't one of the worst movies, that's so much fun. I mean, it's great. It's perfect. It's schlocky. It's not trying to be anything it's not supposed to be. It's Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah.
And if you haven't gotten to see this out there, anybody, you got to see this. If you're into this, either you'll hate it or you'll love it. There's no in between with this one.
Yeah.
Loved it. And it's like my third time watching it.
Jesus.
And I could watch another 5 times. The other film I saw was The Descent 2, about a group of spelunkers. Remember the first one?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I love those movies.
Oh, it's great.
The first and the second one are equally as good.
Well, yeah. Because I had never seen the second one. I mean, if I did in my old age, I fucking forgot about it.
It's a good movie to rewatch when you forget.
Great fucking movie. It definitely had the spirit and the suspense and the horror of the original. Really a lot of fun. So, but yeah, that was pretty much it. I got to see those two and, been watching and binging a few shows on Netflix and Amazon. But aside from that, that's about it.
Not bad.
All right. Not as exciting as you with the
One
Piece, but
I'll tell you what, anybody who watches One Piece, starts it, loves it, once they get to like the 900 mark episode, they're like, I'm so close to finishing. I don't want to finish. I want another 1,000. I guarantee you.
Wow.
It's that good. The story and the world building, mwah, chef's kiss, man.
Well, at the
Unrivaled.
very least, I'll check out the series on Netflix.
There you go.
I'll go halfway.
Yeah. Until you love it so much that you're just like, let me watch the anime.
No, not going to happen. Right? So what do you say we swing into this week's episode?
Oh, that's right. We're doing Indiana Jones.
We're doing an episode here, aren't we?
We're just not talking here. We have a purpose.
Right. So we're going to talk about Indiana Jones, the core trilogy. And for this first one, it's the film that introduced us to the greatest globe-trotting, whip-swinging, two-fisted hero, archaeologist hero of all time.
The Ark. It is something that man was not meant to disturb.
An army which carries the Ark before it is invincible.
Jones! Let her go.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
In 1936, archaeologist and adventurer Indiana Jones is hired by the U.S. government to find the Ark of the Covenant before the evil Nazis can obtain it and use its awesome powers against the good guys. The film we're talking about is Raiders of the Lost Ark from 1981, directed by Steven Spielberg. The film stars Harrison Ford, Karen Allen, Denholm Elliott. Wow, this is one of my all-time favorites. I'd have to say it's in my top 5 overall of the thousands and thousands of films I watch.
Easy, yeah,
easily top 5.
Yeah, you know what? Indiana Jones is to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those movies where, as a kid, you have that feeling when you're leaving the movie theater and you're doing all these action movements. You're like, yeah.
Right.
You know, it's one of those movies.
Well,
it just impregnates.
Well, yeah.
Impregnates?
Well,
it
that's kind of
morphs into it morphs into your mind so well that you're just like, dang, I could do that.
It's a deeply effective film on so many levels. When I first saw this, I remember seeing the ad on TV, and this was about 1980 that the ad came out, 1980, early 81, and from the filmmakers of Star Wars and Jaws, Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, I'm like, fuck it, I don't need to hear more. And then I just see a plane soaring through the air, and you know, I was like blown away, and I got that special little feeling in my tummy, you know. I want to see this, and it didn't disappoint. It's just an amazing film. And talk about influential. Do you know how long? I mean, I saw this. Let me see. It was I was a young teen, maybe 12, 13 years old, around there.
I hate to break it to you, but 12, 13 is oh no, 13.
13
I take it back.
Do you know how much I wanted to grow a 5 o'clock shadow beard after this? I mean, I would really go off, like, I want to grow it. And it took me a while, but
probably a little bit longer than 12.
Yeah. And by the time it finally did come in, it didn't look nothing like Harrison Ford.
No.
I mean, you know how desperate I was?
How?
My dad, God bless him, he was always a prankster. He said, if you want it to grow in, you have to put raw bacon on your upper lip and your face and sleep with it, and it'll start growing. I did. And no, it didn't work.
All you probably grew was a bunch of acne right there.
Yeah.
All that bacon lard.
Oh my God. So it didn't work. But you know, I love it. I mean, you know, to me, it was old school filmmaking. Mm-hmm. It's what films are supposed to be. And you know, it was just fantastic. Do you remember your first viewing?
Raiders?
Yeah.
It was when we did what was it? A double or a triple feature? Mm-hmm. It was when I was a little bit older. Mm-hmm. Granted, funny. I watched the 4th one when I was younger, and I left the movie just kind of like, yeah, you know, that sort of feeling. And then when I was much older, I watched 1, 2, and 3 when I had a bigger appreciation for Indiana Jones and everything, or movies in general.
You see how beautiful this film is.
Yeah,
I mean, it's incredible. Now let's go into some behind the scenes, because this behind the scenes stuff is really freaking cool. Mm-hmm. It's what legends are made of. And some, like for example, the famous scene where he's looking for Marion in the market square because they kidnapped her. Yeah. Remember, she goes into a basket, and then later on he thinks she's dead because the truck blows up, but she's not dead and whatever. So he's searching for her frantically, and he comes across this, you know, like,
the dude with the swords,
right? Yeah. And the dude does
backflip, front flips, twisting of the swords and shit,
like all fancy in the music, and Harrison Ford's, you know, Indiana Jones, like, oh fuck it, he pulls out his gun and shoots him, bang. Now the whole genesis behind that was they were filming in Tunisia, I believe, and a lot of the crew, including Harrison Ford, they were eating local food.
Delicious.
Well, he got food poisoning in the process.
Not so delicious.
So that day they were filming, he was feeling like shit. And so the whole scene was where the guy does his moves, Harrison Ford breaks out his whip, and they have a battle, whip versus sword.
Yeah. Harrison
Ford was not in the mood for all that.
Yeah, probably not.
And he turned to Spielberg, he said, listen, Indiana Jones has a gun on his hip, right? Why doesn't he just shoot the sucker? And Spielberg's like, okay.
Yeah, not a bad idea. We're kind of funny.
And boom. And it's movie history. one of the greatest scenes in the entire film. Surprisingly enough, Spielberg did not get sick. He
Iron
was
stomach, man.
no.
Oh.
He's one of those picky eaters, so he had all his food brought in from the States. You know, in Tupperware and stuff, and
Expensive.
and corn, canned foods and corn and stuff like. So he was eating his own food,
Nah.
so he didn't get sick.
Nah, never mind. I take it back.
Yeah,
Me at the first bite of anything slightly undercooked or anything, dead for a week.
yeah, it was pretty bad for him. So, and again, it wasn't just him; it was the entire crew. And another thing is another bit of behind the scenes stuff that's pretty interesting. Harrison Ford has a tendency to fuck himself up in every film. He gets a broken leg, he gets squashed, he gets hit, he gets hurt. All of his films, even up to The Force Awakens, when a hydraulic door fell on his leg and crushed his leg.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, it started way back when. In this film, in Raiders of the Lost Ark, remember the single wing Nazi plane that's spinning out of control and this big fight scene between him and a Nazi thug?
Yeah.
That was actually spinning around slowly.
Oh, shit.
And Harrison Ford, not a stuntman for the most part, was underneath this plane. Well, he slipped and fell during one of the scenes, and one of the wheels actually ran over one of his knees, tearing a ligament. And lucky for him, I mean, the rubber on the tires was very soft, and I guess it wasn't really that, but it so it didn't crush any bones, but it fucked him up, and they had to wrap him up in ice. But he continued.
You're a fucking trooper, man.
Yeah.
You really think about it. You're like, okay, you go 5 inches lower, you're hitting mostly bony muscle. You go 5 inches higher, you're hitting all muscle.
And not to mention the artery in the thigh. So it was very dangerous.
Yeah.
Another really cool little side bit, a little Easter egg in the film, while they're in the Well of the Souls, in the crypt, and they're looking for the Ark of the Covenant, there's a bunch of hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
And if you freeze frame on one scene, you see like a fucking bird, a pharaoh, all that shit, right?
Sure.
Just like typical hieroglyph. English is
Hieroglyphics.
English is hard. Hieroglyphics. You freeze frame it in this one specific point, and you will see a carving in there of R2D2 and C3PO.
Yeah.
And that was a little nod to his partner George Lucas. And surprisingly enough, another little interesting tidbit about this film, being one of the most successful films of all time, no studio wanted to touch it.
Of fucking course.
I mean, here's Steven Spielberg, Mr. Jaws, Mr. Close Encounters. Here's George Lucas, Mr. Star Wars. And a lot of studios were like, yeah, we're past. But they eventually went to Paramount Studios and kind of worked them in. And Paramount eventually did it, much to their pleasure, because it turned out to be just a money juggernaut for the studio. And we'll see in the numbers later on. And one other thing, there is an urban legend about, because if you watch all these films, he never loses his hat. He's flying through the air. He's being dragged by a truck and his hat doesn't come off. Now, there's an urban legend that said he actually stapled the hat to his head.
Ow.
Yeah. And people think this is true, and it's not. There was a behind-the-scenes special for Raiders of the Lost Ark that came out around 1982 or 81, and it was on television. And in there's a clip where Harrison Ford's behind the scenes, and he's like, yeah, this is how I keep my hat on. And he gets one of those industrial staplers and staples his hat. He has his hat, and he staples it.
Yeah.
Well, it's an empty stapler. It was just for joke.
Yeah.
But somehow it kind of evolved and snowballed into,
he does it.
He stapled it to his head. No.
That would cause damage.
Serious damage.
Yeah.
And another interesting, that's George Lucas. Well, the whole genesis behind Indiana Jones or Raiders of the Lost Ark was Star Wars and Close Encounters premiered the same year. And being brand new filmmakers in Hollywood, these are two big films. They were both nervous about this film, and they were kind of racked with fear and just worry. So they're like, hey, let's grab our wives and let's just take a trip to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's go.
Let's go, man. Get the hell out of here.
We don't want to see, they weren't even at the premiere. So while in Hawaii, they're hanging out at the beach, just relaxing. Lucas turns over to Spielberg and says, "Hey, I got an idea. If these films do well, that's coming out, I have an idea for a next project that we can team up."
Mm-hmm.
It's about an archaeologist, and he wears a fedora hat and a leather jacket, and he's
evolved into Indiana Jones.
He told Spielberg, "But I want you to direct it, no one else." And hence was born Indiana Jones. But as we know with George Lucas, a lot of his influences come from a lot of different films. There's nothing original in Star Wars, the original, or Empire or Jedi. There's nothing original in this. And as a great filmmaker like Tarantino, for example, will take ideas from everything else, but make it their own.
Yeah.
And that's what worked with Raiders of the Lost Ark. In fact, I challenge you to go on YouTube or go on Google and Google image a movie that starred Charlton Heston from 1954. It was called Secret of the Incas.
Okay.
And basically it's about this character named Harry Steele. He's a fortune hunter who's determined to find the sunburst treasure in Inca treasure and so all this kind of stuff in the ruins of Machu Picchu. He wears a fedora hat and a leather jacket. And he's slick and he's cool. That right there was the template for Indiana Jones, amongst other sources, but not an original concept, but again, done right and with its own flavor and its own touch, it made it an amazing, amazing character, one for the ages. Incredible. So now let's get into the numbers. Numbers. So this is some crazy shit, okay? The budget at the time for production was about $20 million, which is about $68 million today.
Okay.
Which is a median kind of budget. Box office upon the time of release was, and this is in 81, $390 million.
Yeesh.
Which is about $1.3 billion today.
Yeah, man, that's fucking high as shit.
Incredible. Now, I'm going to harken back to a point I've made on several episodes. All the shit with these new films that within the last 5 years, they say, "Oh, it hit the $1 billion mark." Shut the fuck up. There's this thing called adjusted inflation.
Yeah.
This is not new, but studios like numbers and people buy it. "Oh, $1 billion. No one's ever made $1 billion. Well, technically, that's bullshit because they have.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. So upon reception critically, this thing was just received so well overall critically. Gene Siskel of Siskel and Ebert, he said it was pretty much as entertaining as a commercial film that any commercial film could be. And it's the kind of film that makes children excited about cinema. And I think...
Very well said.
Yeah. And I think with that comment, it's not just the children, but the children inside of every adult.
Yeah.
And that's what was so magical and amazing about this film. IMDb is sitting at an 8.4. Metacritic has it at 86 out of 100. Rotten Tomatoes critic score 93%. That's certified fresh.
Yeah.
Above and beyond. Audience score for Rotten Tomatoes 96%, and Letterboxd has this at a 4.2 out of 5.
That's high as shit for Letterboxd.
Oh yeah, it's really nice. So, as far as these kind of films go, this is kind of films that, it makes you go, they just don't make films like this anymore.
No.
That's the kind of film this is. In amazing practical effects, amazing stunts, sequels and remakes. This, of course, had several sequels. Since we're covering all 3 Indiana Jones, we're going to split them off, after each film. So we're going to go with one of the sequels / spinoffs was Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which came out, 2008?
Yeah.
Which was your introduction to Indiana Jones.
Correct.
Not as bad as people say, but not as good as it could have been.
True.
So
that's pretty fair, honestly.
Yeah, and there was a series on ABC that ran from 92 to 93. It was called The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, which wasn't too bad.
Okay.
It was all right, What do you say we go into our ratings?
All right.
So why don't you go first?
So, as far as like set designs and props and practical effects and all the other effects, the fucking scene that stands out the hardest is the scene where the Nazis open the Ark of the Covenant, and you see everything just flying out, and then he goes, "Don't look at it."
Yeah.
And everybody starts fucking turning into the skeletal mush and shit.
Oh, it's awesome.
Great. It's fucking amazing. I mean, I have the poster hung up on my room, so that should
Right.
say how much.
It's
It's a good fucking film. But yeah, I mean, I have very little to no problems. This is a solid 9 whips.
9 whips.
9 whips.
Wow, that's pretty high. Well, to me, without a doubt, this has to be the greatest action adventure film ever to grace the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
The cast, the music, the story is as close as perfection as you can get with any kind of film. My rating on this, I'm gonna have to give this a 10 out of 10 whips.
Solid, man.
It's a solid movie. So now, next up, we go with Indiana Jones, literally dropping into an unexpected adventure of darkness, evil, and danger.
Fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory.
You know how to fly, don't you?
No, do you?
You call me Dr. Jones.
The year is 1935, and Indiana Jones is tasked by Indian villagers with reclaiming a rock stolen from them by a secret cult beneath the catacombs of an ancient palace. The film we're talking about here is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom from 1984, directed by, again, Steven Spielberg. The film stars Harrison Ford, Kate Capshaw, and Ke Huy Quan. Another good one. I mean,
Yeah.
The first time I saw this, I saw this at the famous Chinese theater in Hollywood, and it was just amazing. I thought it was a lot of fun. Little dark.
A lot darker. Not a little dark. It's a lot darker. Now we're dealing about, ripping out hearts and, Galima.
Galima. Yeah, it scared the shit out of me. We know what's
I was fucking terrified. And I was like, God, how was I? 16, 17 around there?
Mm-hmm.
I was terrified.
Yeah, it's pretty dark. Well, apparently, Spielberg, who was married to an actress named Amy Irving at the time, they were going through a nasty divorce. George Lucas, in turn, also, I believe, was going through a divorce or split up with Marcia Lucas, who was the editor of American Graffiti and Star Wars. And they were both going through some dark times. In fact, Spielberg decided, well, how am I going to handle this split up with Amy? Oh, you know what? I'm going to sleep with my star, Kate Capshaw. Yeah. He ended up marrying her in the process afterwards. So
Hollywood, baby.
Yeah, that is Hollywood. But yeah, definitely, it's a complete tonal shift on this one. It was quite dark.
Yeah,
I kind of found it a little bit over the top, more so than Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not in a bad way, but it definitely was like when they fall out the plane in the opening sequence before they land in India. And the plane is about to crash, and so they get an inflatable raft. They get in the inflatable raft. They jump out the plane. They inflate the raft. It becomes sort of a parachute. It floats down, lands on the side of a mountain. They slide down the mountain into wild rivers, down a waterfall. It's a bit how should we say, far-fetched?
Yeah.
Or the scene where they're in the mines and the mine cars, where there's a whole, they're going up, like up and down, like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And there's a whole area of track missing, and they fly right over it.
Yeah.
And perfectly land.
Yeah. Sure, buddy.
Yeah, but you know what? To me, you're having so much fun in the process. You go, oh, fuck it.
Fuck it. Well,
I'll buy into it. It's still a lot of fun. Another one of my initial takes of this was the bug scene in the caverns underneath the palace.
Mm-hmm.
Now, rats, they're nasty.
Yeah.
But they don't bug me too much. Snakes, I'll rather not. But,
snakes.
Yeah.
Why did it have to be snakes?
But bugs.
Yeah, I don't fuck with bugs either.
I don't like bugs. No, I can't do it.
You know what's worse than bugs?
Mm.
Spiders. I don't fucking like spiders.
Well, they're bugs too.
No, they're arachnids.
Well, arachnids, but if they're bugs.
Yeah, sure, but you have levels, man. At the very bottom, I would put like rats. I would hold a hamster. It's basically a fucking rat.
Right.
I'll hold a squirrel. It's basically a rat.
Wow. I hope there's no squirrels listening. They're going to get offended by that.
It's like the captain from Inglorious Bastards in the
Right,
opening
he was
sequence.
talking about
Yeah,
this-
it's
yeah,
the
okay.
rodents versus rats.
Right.
Then I would put snakes. I like snakes. You know, they're cool. And actually, I would put snakes at the very bottom. Snakes
Okay.
are cool. Then rats. Then bugs. Then spiders. I don't like spiders. I don't.
Yeah.
Wouldn't,
No.
no.
I heard you scream once.
It was a very manly scream.
Yeah, it was high pitched manly. Just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a big ass spider in your bed,
Correct.
in your bathroom.
Yep.
And yeah.
No, it wasn't in the bathroom. It was in my bed.
Oh, yeah.
No, fuck that. I burned the entire bed.
And you're over there, Joe,
Kill it.
kill a spider. But that bug scene definitely fucked with me.
Yeah.
There's a scene where there's a centipede that crawls up her shoulder into her hair.
Ugh.
Even thinking about it right now,
Ah.
no can do. So let's check into some of this behind the scenes stuff, which is again some really cool stuff. For the bug chamber sequence, where Kate Capshaw is, she's going through there and she has all these bugs on her. Well, she was literally covered in over 2,000 insects for that sequence.
Grody.
And so she had to give her sedatives to do the scene.
You know what? I don't blame her too much.
Nah, you know what? Yeah, no. To me, it would have to been like a fifth of scotch and a joint or something. Because I
just really mellow you the fuck out.
Yeah, and so I wouldn't do it. In fact, what's funny is that later on Spielberg said, "Well, I married her because I had to put her through that." So in constant, I married her. Now, also another thing was interesting was the film was banned in India and never shown on channels in India.
Damn. Why?
Well, because of the negative portrayal of the thuggies and, Pankot Palace, which they couldn't film at. They wanted to film at that palace, but they were not given permission because the script was like, oh, you're making us look like we eat bugs and we slaughter kids.
Yeah.
And it's not the case. And I can understand.
Fair.
So what they did was for the palace, they actually had a matte painting for the special effect, which looks great. You look at it now, it looks like a painting, kind of. You kind of, that's a painting.
Yeah.
But it still looks awesome. It plays into
you try to fucking paint that thing.
Yeah, I can barely draw. I can draw a little bit.
You can draw better than me, man. I draw stick figures and I call them my opus.
Yeah, I've seen your stick figures. They're pretty bad.
Some of them are pretty good.
Yeah, you know what? Now we spoke earlier about how Harrison Ford was injured.
Harrison Food.
Harrison Food. So anyway, well, in this one, he suffered a herniated disc on his back when he was. Remember the scene when he's being attacked by the thuggy assassin in his room?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when he wants to go fuck
Yeah.
the chick? He's like, oh, should I go over there and mess with her? Oh, and she's thinking, well, he's like, okay, I'm gonna go get some sex.
Yeah.
Well, in the process, he gets attacked. Well, in that whole sequence, he actually suffered the herniated disc in his back, and so he's
just power trooping throughout this entire abuse, man.
and he continued working. I mean, with that pain. Also, another interesting little tidbit was my favorite scene, which was the mine rail or the mine cars.
Yeah.
Which is like a giant roller coaster, and the one where he jumps over there that one scene,
Yeah.
it was fun. You know where they got the sound for that? Well,
of course I do.
Well, what they did was they sent a sound recorder and a guy who records the sound for the film, special effects sounds, to Disneyland, and they went over to the Matterhorn ride.
God
Yes!
damn, dude.
And they turned off all the sound effects, like the and the music or whatever the fuck they have playing over the speakers.
Yeah.
And just the sound of the car going around the rails.
That's genius.
And that's where they got the sound.
That's fucking genius, man.
Yeah, I mean nowadays let's manufacture it, whatever. But again, we're talking about the tonal shift of the film. Lucas didn't want to do Nazis again, and that's why there was no Nazis in this one. It's like, oh, we're repeating, but the Nazis are the perfect bad guys. What's the ultimate evil? Fucking Nazis.
Nazis.
How did Brad Pitt say it?
Nazis.
Nazis.
You know what's funny? Funny little tidbit. You remember the first Wonder Woman that was with the Gal Gadot?
Yeah.
Yep. They originally wanted to do Nazis instead of World War One, have it be World War Two.
Right.
But then they were just like, everybody does Nazis.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, man, they're fucking Nazis. Everybody hates on them.
Right. Oh, I was thinking they were going to go with, well, we don't want to offend the Nazis out there.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you know how we get nowadays.
Okay,
and the final thing, Kate Capshaw, who plays Willie Scott, the love interest, she got the part. She obviously read the part well. But one thing that won Spielberg over was that upon her introduction, when they introduced her, I'm Kate Capshaw, I'm here to blah, blah, blah. She was the only one who didn't say, E.T. is one of my favorite films. She was the only one who didn't say that. Because everyone was saying that to kiss his ass.
Of course, man.
And so that impressed Spielberg because she was in there to get the role and not kiss his ass, but use her skill and talent. And it worked. I mean, she ended up getting married to one of the greatest producers, directors of all time.
Shit, win.
Win-win. She hasn't really worked since then.
Would you?
Hey,
Would you? I wouldn't.
I'd fucking marry him just for that.
Shit, man.
So let's go into the numbers here. This one had a bit of a bigger budget, obviously. So the budget at the time was about $28 million, which is about $83 million today. Box office at the time, $331 million, which is about just shy of $1 billion.
Tickling the $1 billion.
Was that your phone?
It is my phone. I thought I put it on silent.
Okay, so now we got the phone on silent.
Correct. It was always on silent. I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, so where were we? So it was just the
right, my joke. Tickling $1 billion.
Tickling $1 billion. $978 million. That's just, that's incredible box office. And this was the lesser of the trilogy.
Yeah.
And it did really well. Reviews and scores overall, Roger Ebert, he gave it a perfect 4-star rating.
Damn, he really liked Galimán.
Oh, he did. Kalima. And he said it was he found it cheerfully exciting, bizarre, goofy, romantic, the best film since Raiders of the Lost Ark. He had so much praise for the sequel overall and called it an experience.
Yeah. Oh, an experience.
An experience. So IMDb has this sitting at a 7.5, Metacritic 57, Rotten Tomatoes 77% from critics and 82% from audiences. And Letterboxd has it at a 3.6 out of 5. Still decent scores.
Decent, yeah.
It's still decent scores. So what is your rating on this?
So it definitely does kind of like drop a little bit from the original.
Agree.
Right? But, it's fine. I really like the, the whole call,
Kalima.
That's something I still joke around with to this day, just
Right.
kind of for fun and shits. What, shits and fun?
Shits and giggles. Shits and
Shits and
giggles.
giggles.
Shits and giggles. Or shits and fun, whatever you want.
Whatever tickles the pickle, you know what I mean?
Right.
Still really good, fun, enjoyable, classic fun for the entire movie if you want to sacrifice someone at the end of it.
Yeah.
But really solid. This way. Are we doing ratings here? Or are we
Yeah,
just
we're
talking?
doing
Oh, ratings. It gets a 5. It gets 5, 8.
Okay.
It gets an 8.
I was about to kick you out.
Yeah, get the fuck out.
Yeah. Okay. 8 out of 10 whips. Okay.
8 whips.
So for me, it was definitely a tonal shift.
Yeah.
From the original. It was dark, often disturbing, but still it was an exciting adventure film with, Harrison Ford brings in his A game no matter what. And one thing we failed to mention was Ke Huy Quan as Short Round, his first film ever. And he just was amazing.
Yeah.
An awesome sidekick, which they try to replicate that concept in Dial of Destiny, the most recent one.
Okay.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet, right?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. That's one of the down points of that one. But anyway, Short Round, an amazing character, amazing actor, Ke Huy Quan. So for me, this is easily an 8 out of 10 whips.
Yeah, solid.
Yeah, solid. All right. So now, sequels and remakes. I mean, sequels, we have Indiana Jones and the Battle of Destiny. The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones from 92 to the 96. That was another series.
Another series?
Because the other one was the Adventures of Young Indiana.
Or the Chronicles.
And this was the Chronicles. Chronicles and Adventure. I never was into either one.
Yeah.
And I was a kid when, young and, still, all excited about these films.
Because let me tell you this. Who would you rather see? Some Joe Schmo TV actor or Harrison Ford?
Harrison Ford. He is Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
There's no other. And so,
no offense to whoever did end up playing, TV indie. It's just, it's kind of huge shoes to fill.
Yeah. I mean, there's only one other actor that came kind of close, and that was River Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix's brother.
Yeah. And he played him in our next film. So, which leads us into our final film of the episode.
Huzzah.
And in our final adventure, we meet Henry Jones Sr. and go on a quest for the holiest of treasures.
I want you to find the Grail.
I've heard this bedtime story before.
Eternal life, Dr. Jones. The gift of youth to whoever drinks from the Grail.
After you, Junior.
This is intolerable!
The year is 1938. After his father goes missing while pursuing the Holy Grail, Indiana Jones finds himself up against who? Those
Nazis.
Evil Nazis, to stop them from obtaining its powers. The film we're talking about here is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade from 1989, directed by Steven Spielberg. The film stars Harrison Ford, The Man, Sean Connery, John Rhys Davies, Denholm Elliott, and Allison Doody. Wow. You know what? To me, this brought it back.
Yeah.
This is just...
How do you top Indiana Jones, the original, right? You're like, okay, well, let's bring in someone. Not just anyone. Sean Connery, man.
James Bond.
Shane fucking Connery.
Oh, he was just...
Who's he gonna be? The professor? His mentor? Better. His fucking dad.
Daddy Jones.
Genius.
It was amazing. He took this to another level. I mean, without him, this would have been a good film, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You
don't get that dynamic, man.
Oh, well, yeah, Sean Connery was just fantastic. I mean, what can you say? And now, for me, the cold open with River Phoenix as young Indiana Jones, it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the genesis of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I think it was a little bit unnecessary.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of go, yeah, I could have done without it. But you're kind of like in the back and forth. You still enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. I mean, but I did feel that it did have a checklist going there. Okay, so what do we have here? Snakes. Check. Scar on chin. Check. Whip. Check. The hat. Check. You got to get everything explained over there in that, that short cold open, which I felt kind of like it was fan service in a bit.
Yeah.
In a way. But it was still fun. Joaquin Phoenix really did a good job.
River.
Oh, yeah, River Phoenix.
River Phoenix.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, River Phoenix. He did a great job. So I enjoyed it. What was your take on it?
I mean, the dynamic between the entire movie or the
Overall,
opening sequence? I mean, overall, it's fucking great. The dynamic that he and his dad carried throughout this entire of like kind of bickering back and forth. Oh, great.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, my favorite scene was where they're tied up in the chair.
Mm-hmm. And the house is on fire. And
and they're back to back in the chairs. And because Indiana Jones slept with the villain, Allison Doody.
Yeah.
The chick, right? And so he's like, yeah, I shouldn't have slept with her or whatever. But, they're talking. And it turns out that his dad slept with her too. And he's like, oh, what? It was hilarious. I mean, like you said, the dynamic between Harrison Ford and Sean Connery was just pure magic. Mm-hmm. It just, every minute of it, everything from the bickering back and forth to the moments of them reconnecting as father and son.
Yeah.
And I think that was the core of the whole film. It's a father and son film. The estranged, relationship that they've had. How Indiana Jones Jr. felt that his dad alienated him for a certain reason, but everything comes out and it's beautifully done. It really
is. Yeah, it shows through.
Definitely. So now some of this behind the scenes stuff, there's some cool stuff. Interesting. Most of the uniforms worn by the Nazis throughout this film, like in the Berlin book burning sequence, they were authentic, real World War II uniform. They weren't replicas. They were the real deal. They found an old cache of uniforms in Germany, and the costume designer, Anthony Powell, he found these. He's like, oh shit, we don't have to make these. They're here already.
I don't know, man. I feel like that carries some bad juju.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like using real skeletons for Poltergeist. It carries some bad juju energy.
Yeah.
Hey, when was the last time somebody wore this? Oh, it was worn by Lischl.
Yeah.
And, what was he? Oh, he worked at Auschwitz.
Oh, okay. Well, bring those pants over. I'll bring.
Great. We'll size them up to you. I don't.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, authenticity is one thing, but
extremities is another.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, that is.
Know. I wouldn't be too comfortable wearing.
Now, interesting. Talk about wearing pants. Remember the sequence when they're on the Zeppelin?
Yeah.
The blimp.
Yeah.
And Harrison Ford and Sean Connery are there talking. They were both not wearing pants.
Huh.
Because it was so hot on the set. They're like, man, fuck this. They took off their pants. They're just there in their undies and doing their scene. It was so hot on the set. Another interesting thing about this is that Sean Connery is playing his dad.
Yeah.
You know what the age difference is?
I don't think it's that much.
12 years.
Sounds about right.
Only 12 years between them. And so that's why Sean Connery had to wear, had him with a beard, a white beard throughout the whole thing.
To really kind of show a difference.
Make him look older. And so, it was only 12 years between them. That Spielberg had 2 other films he was supposed to work on, but he dropped these 2 films to do this one.
That's commitment. One
was a film called Big with Tom Hanks.
Okay.
Where he, Tom Hanks.
Oh, yeah.
Little boy, he grows up in Spielberg was supposed to direct that.
That would have had a nice Spielberg touch.
I think so. And another film, Rain Man, with who was it? Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise, where they're brothers, and Dustin Hoffman has autism, and he's a genius. You haven't seen this?
No.
Great film, won Academy Awards. Spielberg was scheduled to do that one as well. Now, that one, it went to Steven Soderbergh, who I think did an amazing job. And if you watch it, you go, this is an amazing film. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't think Spielberg could have gave it the touch that it needed to get that Oscar nod.
It would have been good, but, not Oscar.
Right. And now Spielberg was not one to do sequels, but he did all 3 of them as a commitment to his friend, George Lucas. Because when they agreed to do this in Hawaii, he said, it's going to be 3 films. I want you to do them all. So as a friendship, promise, he did all 3. Because typically he doesn't do sequels.
Yeah.
What others? He hasn't done any other. He did Lost World, Jurassic Park.
Did he?
Yeah, he directed that one. But generally, he stays away from sequels, which is smart. But overall, so let's get into the numbers on this thing.
Numbers, man.
Numbers. So the budget at the time was about $48 million, which is about $118 million today.
That's hefty.
That's a big budget.
That's fucking hefty.
Now, the box office at the time was $472 million, which in today's dollars is about $1.2 billion.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that $1 billion mark again. So it's not, it did extremely well. Reviews and scores on this film. Roger Ebert praised this film. He loved it, gave it a perfect score. Called it basically, it's a style of illustration that appears in magazines like Boy's Adventure and so forth of the 1940s, basically stating it just harkened back to the spirit of adventure and fun and action. Cinema score. Gave it, Cinema score, for those of you who don't know, is kind of like a polling process for premiere screenings, where they'll stand out there, hey, on a scale of, on A through F, what do you give this film? So this polled at an A on an A to F scale from CinemaScore.
Solid, man.
IMDb, 8.2. Metacritic has it at about a 65 out of 100. Rotten Tomatoes, 84% critic score and 94% audience score. Letterboxd, 4.1 out of 5. We rarely get a 4 point anything.
4 point anything is pretty fucking high for
Yeah.
Letterboxd.
It's pretty amazing. Sequels. Then you have The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones we talked about.
Yep.
So right now, I don't know if there's talk. There is vibe that they're going to do more Indiana Jones stuff. But I think Disney, they're a bunch of fucktards.
Yeah.
They're going to wait till Harrison Ford dies and they'll come out with some bullshit saying, in his honor, we're going to do a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, when they smell money,
and they need money, man.
They need money right
need
now.
money.
So what's your rating on Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade?
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade gets a 0.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. No, but I mean, the whole dynamic between Harrison Ford and Sean Connery is great. Seeing them deal again with Nazis, it had a little, soft spot to it. It feels home. Nazis and whips.
Oh,
What more could you ask for?
Feels like home.
Feels like home.
Okay.
Seeing Indiana Jones fuck up some Nazis.
Yeah.
And it was pretty solid. I think my favorite part of the movie is where, spoilers, it's in the last fucking act where he finally gets to the chamber where all the chalices are, right?
Right, for
and
the
the
Holy
knight
Grail.
sir is telling him, you can take the Holy Grail if you can find which one it is. And you see all these cups adorned in like gold and diamonds. And this one simple one, just off in the corner. And he goes, it's that one. And he goes to grab it. The rest disappear. And then, yeah. That's the whole. I was like, okay, that has a nice touch to it, man.
Yeah, he says, "Well, that is the cup of a carpenter."
Yeah. Funny enough, Harrison Ford was a carpenter.
Yeah, in real life, exactly.
Yeah. He didn't start acting until he was like late mid-30s.
Yeah, well, by the time he had done Star Wars, he had done a couple of films. The Conversation, which was a film by Francis Ford Coppola, back in '74, but that was a small part.
Mm-hmm.
And he almost gave up acting because he wasn't getting. And also, he was in Apocalypse Now. Was
he?
Yeah, very small part in the beginning. He's like an officer or somebody.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he was a carpenter. Yeah. So your score?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
In my head, I already said it, man. In my head, now speaking it into existence, it gets an 8.5 whips.
8.5 whips. That is pretty good. Well, also really little quick side note, what I remember about that chalice sequence was the old night when Indiana Jones picks the right one and he drinks it and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I love the way he says it. You chose wisely.
It has like a little...
Yeah. I thought it was beautiful. In fact, they had a Pepsi commercial, like a Pepsi tie-in. Promotion with the film, and there was a commercial with this Coke versus Pepsi, and somebody drinks, they pick the Pepsi. He goes, you chose wisely. But for me, my rating, I mean, this pretty much brings it back to the spirit of fun, and of course, evil Nazis, and easily the second best of all the Indiana Jones films, with the cherry on top being Sean Connery.
Yeah,
what can you say?
Yeah.
The great Sean Connery. So for me, my rating is a 9 out of 10 whips.
Solid, man.
Solid films. And again, to me, these are the kind of films they just don't make anymore. And if they do, it's far few in between. And no one can touch Raiders of the Lost Ark.
No.
Because the movie came out in 81 and it's been almost 40 years, 35 years since. And it's still easily one of the greatest films of all time. And, a 12-year-old kid can see it today and go, wow, that was fun.
Yeah.
That's a great film. So now let's go into some recommendations along the vein of these type of films. And I'm going to go into one that's not very well known. It's a film starring Tom Selleck, which, ironically, Tom Selleck was supposed to be Indiana Jones, but he turned it down.
I don't see that working out.
For this film. And the film is called High Road to China. and it's from 1983. It's an action-adventure film set in, I think, around World War I, around that time. And he plays a grumpy, drunk pilot of a biplane, and he goes on an adventure trying to save somebody's dad. And you know what? It was a lot of fun. It was not marketed well, maybe because also it was compared too much to Raiders of the Lost Ark. And Tom Selleck was not a proven box office draw at the time, but it's a lot of fun. The movie's called High Road to China, from 1983. Another film I'd like to recommend, Romancing the Stone.
Solid, man.
Robert
Fucking
Zemeckis.
love Danny DeVito in this.
Oh, great cast. Danny DeVito, Michael Douglas, and Kathleen Turner. And it's directed by Robert Zemeckis, who did Back to the Future Part 1, 2, and 3, Forrest Gump. An incredible, beautiful action-adventure romantic film.
Yeah.
And one of those films that it just doesn't get old.
No.
Incredible. And finally, the last recommendation, I know you're going to like this one, is The Mummy Returns.
Dude, I love Brendan Fraser.
2001. That movie was a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun, man. I love Brendan Fraser.
And I liked it better than the first Mummy. The first Mummy wasn't bad.
It was good.
But this one, it felt like a good old adventure film. And what all these three films have, they have the semblance or the feeling and the spirit of Raiders of the Lost Ark and Indiana Jones overall, while being their own thing.
Yeah.
So, you watch your Indiana Jones trilogy, you want something more along the same vein. These three films are good. They're really good. As far as Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny and Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I still recommend them, but I think it will make you sour on the original trilogy. It's kind of like, it's like having that perfect steak and then here comes your final course of the meal and it's like a big old pile of shit,
Yeah.
It just kind of brings it all down. So now we're about to wind this down and put this one in the can. So next week, we are going to go and get medieval, gross, and disgusting.
Yeah, man.
We're going to focus on three films that the central focus. One of the great things about these three films is the visual special effects and makeup effects. The first film we're going to talk about next week is from 1986, which is a remake of the 50s film called The Fly.
Grody.
And behind it, again, we're going to showcase and talk about these great special effects masters. And that was Stan Winston, who was the special effects guy on that. So that's The Fly from 86. 1982's The Thing.
Yeah.
Special effects man, Rob Bottin. And finally, we're going to talk about 1978's Dawn of the Dead. And special effects person, master, wizard on that was Tom Savini.
Wizard.
The master of nastiness. So these are the three films: The Fly, The Thing, and Dawn of the Dead. So we're going to get discussing next week. So what do you say we wind us down?
I say.
Any final words?
Sacagawea.
Okay, so, well, we really hope you've enjoyed this episode, and we ask you to please help to support the podcast by giving us a 5-star rating. Leave us a good review. Or another way you can help to support us is to simply subscribe and or to follow us on Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Audible, Boomplay, or wherever you get your podcast fix. Also, please don't forget to stop by our Facebook group on Facebook. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. How we tell us you loved us. Tell us you thought we stunk.
Tell us you want to whip us.
Okay, and and check us out on TikTok and on our YouTube channel, where we have all of our complete episodes as well. All of these links, they're in our show notes. So also almost forgot. You can also contact us directly via email at thefilmjoepod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you and your feedback. So with that being said, I'm Joe.
I'm Carlos.
And this is the Film Joe Podcast,
where film talk happens.